Hi everyone, it's Charles at Empress Mills, and today we're taking a peek at another Lewis Irene collection, this time the absolutely fantastic Honeybee range, which is actually a follow-on from the Queen Bee collection, which is a range that Lewis Irene brought out, I think 2 years ago now. It was an absolute bestseller for them, super popular. It was a really lovely collection, very popular. And so they brought this range out as a sort of sequel to that, let's call it. Now, interestingly, Lewis and Irene actually described this as a wintry sequel, a wintry new edition from that Queen Bee collection. And personally, I wouldn't call it wintry myself, but I was chatting with Mum and a couple of ladies here at Empress just before we started filming, and I mentioned this sort of wintry comment that the designers have made, and we've sort of come to the conclusion that comes across in a slightly more subtle colour palette that you'll see throughout the range. It's still got metallics, and it's still got some nice bright fun. In fact, I'll be spreading this one out. It's still got some nice bright, fun, vibrant colours in there as well. But it is that bit more subtle. The original range, any yellow elements really popped and were bright, vibrant yellow. This is that little bit more subtle and almost more natural in its feel. You get sort of you can see it actually. This is a really good example of it on this design, which we'll chat about in a bit more detail. But you can really see on the sort of beehive here, it's a real natural sort of honey yellow, as opposed to it being almost a caricature of that. And I hope you agree. We'll see if you do. But I think, we think here at Empress, that is what the Lewis and Irene design team have meant with that sort of design ethos behind the collection. So yes, let's dive into the designs. There are 15 designs in the collection, as usual with the Lewis and Irene range, which is made up of 5 main designs and 3 colourways in each of those designs to give you an absolute spread of shades. This absolute beauty that I've got in front of me is one of the main designs, which comes in 3 colours. And it's just packed full of little bits of detail that I just want to quickly pick up on. We've got the metallic elements making an appearance straight away. So above the Queen Bee itself, we've got the crown, and she's surrounded there with these sort of metallic offshoots, these metallic stars, which again follows through into one of the other designs that we'll see in a moment. Other than that, we've got these lovely lavender elements coming round and this clover on there. All sorts from that point of view, but it's just the little bits of detail. We've got all the floral elements built in. We've got these extra little sort of dib-dabs of gold, shall I call them, there. This extra little worker bee sort of busying away over there. And it is absolutely jam-packed, but it doesn't feel overwhelming. It's a real stunner of a design. I hope you agree anyway, but we really love this range, but this design in particular. It comes, as I say, in 3 colourways, so that's almost if they called it midnight blue, it looks midnight bluey to me. They've called it navy, but it's got a very sort of dark navy feel to it. And it comes in this naturally sort of beige coloured background that you see here. And even though you've got that natural background, the metallic is still popping nicely there. You can still see the metallic popping quite effectively there. And interesting, the bee to me really stands out well because you're picking up the black edge of the bee itself. Obviously, it's got the nice yellow colour in the middle, but it just makes that really stand out crisply on that lighter coloured background that we've got with the natural beige. What have they actually called it? Yeah, natural beige background on that one. The 3rd colourway is a really interesting one. It's almost a cappuccino style background, should we say, with this one maybe. And again, that sort of tone with some of the natural yellows and things that we've seen on this, but the design still stands out well. It's another really interesting colour combination that Lewis and Irene have chosen. And if you've seen any of my videos before, you'll probably know that I am baffled with how they choose colours, and this is one of those times I would have thought that would have blended far too much with some of the other design elements, and it doesn't. Those floral elements work really well on that background. It is really interesting how they choose different colours. Moving on, this is the I think they've just called it clover. Yes, this is the clover sort of blender fabric that goes with it, with this natural background. and they are making a nice touch use of metallic. We can see it just coming off the top of the clover elements there, these little dots again. So again, that's just pulling through nicely, and it is a really subtle use of metallic on this design. So if the main design does feature it quite heavily, but if you just want a blender fabric for another project, for example, that's just got a dab of metallic on, this would be certainly be a nice option. And it comes in the 3 colourways, of course. So we've got the purple, this lilac, is that what they've got? Lavender, sorry, I should have got that, shouldn't I? So we've got the lavender background there, and then also this dark navy background just here, and they've tweaked the colour of the leaves, and look at that one for popping, isn't that amazing? I'm just checking with that, yes, it's coming across really well on the camera as well. So hopefully when you're watching this on YouTube or wherever you've chosen to watch it, hopefully that comes across as stunning as it certainly looks. And again, those fantastically contrasting colours, the navy background, the gold leaves, the little gold metallic dots, and then the clover sort of petals in particular picked out in that white. It's a stunning design, it really is. I think it's just this range in general. I'm a massive fan of metallic. I'm a magpie really, so anything like this really does it for me. But it is a really nice collection. The next 3 designs, personally, I think are a bit strange. They almost work into a Christmas collection. So it does in a way feature with the way the designers mentioned wintry, and it certainly relates back to the original. In fact, I'll show you, it relates back to the original 3 designs really effectively. But the way it's a bursting star, to me, it's got that real sort of festive vibe to it, and you can see that it sort of pulls through from there onto this. So I can certainly see the what should I say? Don't mean the match. I can see where the sort of design ethos has come from. That's what I was looking for. But it is very sort of starry, as you can see there. And we've got that on the natural background. On this shading here, which is sort of a dark honey background again. And it works really well on that background actually. And then this, which I think, yes, it's not navy, this is dark grey they've called it, and it is sort of a very dark silvery grey, and it works absolutely fantastically well on that. So you've got that central star, it bursting out, and then on to these smaller star design elements, all with that sort of metallic touch. So another really nice design it is indeed. So onto this next one, which features a busy bee design, actually all in metallic across the full range, and it's got I hesitate to call it a check, and it's not really a hive background. It's not a spot. It's almost. I'm going to go with check. I'm going to go with checkerboard, but it is very fine and quite subtle from that point of view. That's the charcoal colourway in that, with all of these bees picked up in that fantastic metallic that Lewis and Irene have used, and it comes in the 3 colourways, of course. So we've got this gorgeous pinky beige colour, very sort of a warm pinky beige with this one, as you can see just there, and then also here it is in green. And this is where Lewis and Irene again get very clever with their colour usage, very clever with how colours work across the range. This is the first time that we've seen a truly green print in all of the colours that we've looked at so far. And yet you will see, particularly when we take a quick look at one of the fat quarter packs in a moment, just to see them all blending together, you'll see that it does work, even though it's almost to me feels that it contrasts to some of the other colours, but it does work. And again, I know I mentioned it in other videos and I don't want to labour it too much, but this is where, to me, Lewis and Irene really set themselves apart as a fantastic design team. They pull all these different colours in, and it was Brian, the guy who started Lewis and Irene, along with his wife and daughter, and then his son Ben joined, who said to me many years ago when they first got going, Charles, it's all about making sure, yes, that it tones together, but we don't want it to become monotonous. He said, we don't want the people that use our fabrics to end up with monotonous, dull, drab finishes to their projects, because the colours all happen to blend together. We want them to tone, but not just become blending because they are the same shade. And that is what this is all about to me. This really summarises that. So yes, hopefully we'll see that soon. Sorry to have witted on there, but it's one of those things that I find quite interesting. The last three main prints are actually not metallic in the range, and they are just blenders. And I say three, we actually don't have the third one in this, so it's a 14 designs that we've got left. It's been out for a little bit, but we've got plenty of everything that I've shown you, so don't worry about that. And again, it's this sort of natural beigey background with this fantastic all over floral design, almost a floral tendril with these leaves. Again, as always, Lewis and Irene have added the detail. We've got the little sort of dots or sprigs on the end of each leaf, and even down to those tiny, I think the veins on the leaves there that you can see. Absolutely epic amounts of detail as always from the L&I team. And it comes in a green. You're going to be saying, no, he's planned this, and I genuinely didn't. It was Nat who created this stack for me before we started talking. So again, we've got a green version in that as well, just as an interesting finish. There was a third colour, that one's gone now, but all of those still work together absolutely fantastically. I'll show you the pack in a second. And to just look at that briefly, that's the fat quarter pack that features, let me go back one. That's the fat quarter pack that features that green, which I mentioned, it felt sort of standout, but it works so, look how well it works with these two sort of, as I say, cappuccino, struggle for colour names sometimes, cappuccino colours that we've got there, works so, in fact, that's a good way to see them all. There we go. And it just seems to work so well. And again, that very, very clever colour usage. As always, with a Lewis and Irene range, they brought out a range of bumbleberries, their very own blender fabrics designed specifically to work with this collection. So you can see we've got those there, and again we've got the fat quarter pack selection of those. Not pushing that from a sales point of view, I just mean for you to be able to see the range of colours in that selection there. There we go. So moving on, just very briefly, let me move some of these out of the way, then I can just quickly show you this last little element, because in this range Lewis and Irene brought out a panel, fantastic apron panel. It comes with everything that you need, so I'm going to hold it right up, hope it doesn't show my tummy. You get everything that you need to make that apron in there, apart from the in fact, let me double check, you might even get the apron strap. Yes, I think you do, but all the info's on the website. I think you even get the neck piece as well as part of one of those strips at the bottom there. So you've got everything that you need to make the apron, and Lewis and Irene have printed the instructions on there as well. So you've got some fantastic features with the bee design also appearing there. And that is everything. I think we've covered the whole lot. We've been excited to cover this range of me and Nat with the metallics and those colours. It always looks really well on the camera. So we've been looking forward to this, and I hope it's been a useful video for you watching as well, not just us enjoying filming it. I really hope it's been useful. As always with Lewis and Irene, I mentioned the blenders. We've got the curated bundles, and again they are selected by the Lewis and Irene design team. Nothing to do with Empress. They put them together to work with that coordinating but not monotonous effect that I mentioned earlier. So we've got those available if you want to use them, even just as a design guide. You can have a little peek on the website and look at how the colours are working from that point of view. I think I have covered everything about these fabrics. If there is anything else you've got any questions on, whether it's something to do with the design, the fabric itself, anything at all, please get in touch. You know we'd be delighted to help. You can leave a comment underneath the video. You can telephone us. Don't hesitate, pick the phone up and have a chat with us. Email us through the website or message us through any of our social media channels. Thank you very much indeed for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks a lot and goodbye.